Hello, everyone. It's Mike from Downtown Comics, and I'm here as always with James Rossman. James, how are we doing today?
Doing good, Mike. How about
good.
you?
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
All right, so we're here to talk. I hope. Did you have a good Labor Day?
I did, yeah.
Okay,
How about you?
I hope everyone out there had a good Labor Day. Yeah, I did. I had some fantasy football drafts, so it's
nice.
It's my time of year for lamenting my picks. So anyway, we're going to talk about not fantasy football, though we could. We're going to talk about comics, specifically comics releasing this Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. So we've got 2 each, and then we've got one that we both read.
Yeah.
So, all right. Like, share, and subscribe. That's always awesome. And then downtowncomics.com is the place to go to check out all the comics that come out every single week. All right, James, let's start with you. What do you got?
So our biggest one, Batman #1.
Okay, well, this is the one I read, too.
Yeah.
So we'll start at this one. Okay.
Yeah. So written by Matt Fraction. But this is a new series. It's an ongoing one. So after... It has nothing really to do with the Hush 2.
Right. Yeah. So from a timing standpoint, this was meant to replace the Batman series that had been running now 160-ish issues. It was going to end after the Hush storyline concluded, but then there's been delays, and so the Hush storyline is still continuing. There's still a few issues left, so that's going to continue into the fall. But they're starting. This is the new ongoing. So eventually, when the Batman Hush ends, that run of Batman, which is called the 2016 Batman.
Yeah.
So that's the 2016. This is the 2025 Batman. So
it might be a little confusing just for a little bit until.
Yeah, but you don't have to have read.
Again.
You don't have to have read the last one to start on this one. That's what they do with #1. So.
Yeah, and I will also say that. So even though this is not a reboot, it's just a new series essentially.
Yeah, it's a new jumping on point.
Yeah,
that's what they call it. Yeah.
But yeah, so like all the continuity that's been established in the last few years kind of will come back. But these are like this one in particular is kind of like a one and done story almost.
Yes.
So I think there was something towards the end to where it was like, okay, this is probably gonna be carried over. It's like kind of more of a subplot.
There was definitely a teaser ending, let's put it.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I really enjoyed this. This is the whole Alfred thing was a little interesting.
Yeah, so I have a couple of questions having read Batman on and off. So is the Alfred in this book a hologram, or is it just him talking to the ghost of Alfred?
That is what I'm wondering. I think it's a hologram. I think.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
Okay, either way.
Yeah.
I kind of dug the fact that he has like someone to talk to.
Right, yeah.
It's just his own imagination, I guess.
Yeah,
So because the one thing I got from this book when I started reading it was that this Batman, while I'm not going to say he's lighter, but I will say the book itself is less dark.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so everything,
including his suit.
Yes, and that was one of the first things I noticed was that the suit is hearkening back to that more 70s.
Yeah,
I believe the Marshall Rogers era maybe, and you can in the comments, you Batman fans can tell me if I'm on the right track here, but that more bluish, not the dark blue, but like a lighter blue to the costume.
Yeah.
So
I
like that.
Yeah, no, same here. Yeah. Let's see, and in this issue we start off with Killer Croc like escaping Arkham, and they call him Batman. He tries go and finds him and stuff like that. But another thing about this Batman is about I won't really get into this too much, but just the way he goes about things, especially with Killer Croc, and Killer Croc was essentially going through like a bunch of changes,
right.
And the way that Batman kind of talked to him and stuff like that, and especially what happened to him when Killer Croc was taken away back to Arkham, and the thing that
I mean the way he just related to the villain in this one was kind of unique for Batman, and again subtly gives you an idea that maybe this Batman is a little bit a little bit different than the incarnation from the last series.
Yeah,
there's been some change in his personality a little bit.
Yeah.
And
I hope that's that continues through Matt Fraction's Batman.
Well, I mean Matt Fraction is excellent on like I told you off camera, so I'll tell you on camera that his Hawkeye run is absolutely fantastic. Probably the best thing about that character has ever been written. And so I think he has a real knack for that kind of single character type writing.
Okay.
So I think that's where he's at his best. Like he did some good stuff on Thor, so these single characters, when he gets a chance to dive into them, I think he's really good. So I think it was a good choice to get him on board. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and obviously the art by was Jorge Jimenez, right?
Yes, yeah,
that was
fantastic.
So freaking good. Yeah.
No, he's really good. So hopefully he can keep a schedule.
Yeah, I hope so.
Be nice.
I know between Superman and Batman, at least for right now, because obviously we have Hush 2, we have this one, and then we have Immortal Legend Batman. But I mean, that one's only 12 issues.
Right.
But between Batman, Superman, and there was another character that I mentioned earlier. There's like so many different issues
takes.
going. Yeah, different
right.
takes going
different
on at the same
takes.
time.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
But no, yeah. So this is definitely kind of a breath of fresh air a little bit, and you can actually, it's not, the panels like aren't dark or anything like that either. So as far as like the coloring and stuff like that, so that was kind of nice to see too.
I think you could, you could consider this more of a book you could also put in the hands of someone that's a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also another thing that I want to mention, this Batman is not someone I think that's like going to be like pushing people away, where it's just like, the other Batman, he's like, oh, you're either with me or against me, or
right.
I don't need you to be able to do this and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's part of the change.
Yeah. Kind of this is kind of more of a mature Batman, I guess. As far as that goes. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it.
No, I did too. No notes really. So we'll see what happens down the pike, and whether. It'll be interesting to see whether he does these kind of maybe at the beginning, these one-off stories, and not some big, through line thing.
Which would be really cool, especially
different.
for
different. All right,
where you could jump in at any point.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, so definite must read. All right, so my first book is Doctor Strange 450. So there's been 450 odd issues of Doctor Strange. I want to say again, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think Doctor Strange has never gotten to 100 on any one title. So I think that one in the 80s, he got literally into the 80s. Like I think it ended at 81 or 85 or something. I could be wrong. So he's had so many different series.
Yeah. That's another one. Yeah.
Anyway, so Doctor Strange 450 is not only a celebration of Doctor Strange as a character. Obviously these anniversary issues tend to be. It's also a bridge between the end of the last one, where he was Doctor of Asgard. Basically, that was the subtitle. That series is over. This is a bridge book, and then his new book will be starting. Okay. So if you are a Doctor Strange reader, obviously you don't want to miss this bridge book. If you aren't, and you're interested maybe when the new Doctor Strange #1 comes out, you're going to want to pick this up. So you get 4 stories in here. Some key, I'll just briefly go over all 4 of them. So the first one is you do get an origin for the cloak. I don't know if the origin's ever been told, but you actually get an origin for the cloak. So that was an interesting story. You also get a story where Doctor Strange was actually a mentor and teacher of magic, Ilana Rasputin, which I don't know if that's ever been stated, but she actually learned magic from Doctor Strange. And it kind of implies that this is maybe the first time he taught a student.
Okay. Being
Sorcerer Supreme, and it's possible that also gave him the impetus to have the Strange Academy down the road, where he set up a school for that kind of thing. And then the third one is, if you pay close enough attention, I think it harkens to the character of Phantom Stranger from DC, because he's definitely dressed like Phantom Stranger. So it's more of this kind of 70s haunted house story, where he's kind of dressed like that character. So a nice little homage there. And then lastly, the actual bridge story. So it takes place from the end of the book that just ended, and then sets up the story for the new #1, because he is in fact stuck in Asgard because of what happened in Thor. When Thor died, the Rainbow Bridge got severed, and so basically Asgard is cut off from Midgard.
Okay.
So Strange is trapped in Asgard, basically. So the beginning of his book will be him trying to figure out a way back to Midgard, to Earth. basically.
interesting.
So yeah, so if that interests you, then again, I thought all the stories were good, interesting into the past and present of Doctor Strange, and so yeah, it did whatever any good anniversary issue should. So anyone can read it and enjoy it.
Awesome. I feel like we're in the age of a lot of both Marvel and DC characters getting number ones.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel has obviously been doing it a lot longer than DC. DC, didn't embrace it for the longest of times until 2011 when the New 52. That's when they went basically all in, to say a phrase. But Marvel was always they picked up in the early 2000s on the concept of comics being like TV shows, right? Where there's seasons and stuff. So, in reference to Batman #1 in the old days, that would have just been Batman number 168 after that Hush storyline, right? That had just said new direction, new creative team, and just continued the numbering, which, there's always been something to that from a person who's read comics as long as I have. I love having those numbers go up. I love having stuff in order, and then, but nowadays, especially since the companies have now pretty much embraced the legacy numbering concept, at least, I wish they'd embrace it even more. Honestly, I have some ideas on how they could do that if they wanted to, but I think now, even DC's like, when there's a hard break and we're gonna kind of relaunch a new, like I said, this was a hard enough break that going from the end of Hush to this one in one issue may seem a little bit even more jarring than just starting it over at number one, And the idea is always to get people to jump on board, right?
Yeah,
that's what you want.
Thing.
So, and I guess the idea is also you want to get more people to jump on board than left, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes when a series ends, some people are like, okay, well then I'm not going to read this character anymore. But then hopefully if there's 100 people that stop reading it, but you get 150 that jump onto it, well, you're net 50 on readership there. Sure. And that's kind of the numbers they try to play with. So
I feel like people would be less inclined to stay on, even though when this Batman, it's like, oh, it's written by someone completely different. Whereas if it was written by someone completely different and they were still keeping with the, 168, stuff like that, people might be like, yeah, but still, oh well.
Yeah, I think the idea always has been from a psychological standpoint that people don't like to jump onto something where they feel like they have missed something.
That's true.
So if there's been 167 issues and 168's a new story, even though you could tell them 100 times, like you don't have to read 1 through 167, it's still, there's still a thing where that's like, well, now just, so yeah, I mean, the numbers bear it out that a lot of people don't notice the rollover from 167 to 168, but they'll notice the 167 to a new number one, and that's just the way it is. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So.
Sweet.
All right. What's next?
So up next for me is Adventures of Superman Book of L #1. So this is a 12-issue maxi series. This is a follow-up to, if you've read the War World saga, but it also connects to the Future State House of L book from maybe 4 years ago or so.
Okay, so all right, it's the Future State world. We're going back to that. Okay, yeah. I was wondering. I knew the War World thing, but okay, all right, that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah, and I told you this earlier, but this is maybe the first Superman book that has been released here, between last year and this year, where it's definitely more confusing if you haven't read these two.
Okay.
Whereas in all the other Supermans that are starting right now, there's good jumping on points. There's #1s that you could have jumped on to, Absolute Superman, stuff like that.
Sure.
So, okay. I would definitely familiarize yourself a little bit with the War World and the Future State of House of L book. But no, this starts off with the Kent family, with the inclusion of the I think it's Philosian twins, I think is how you say it. But
I don't know.
They were actually that Superman brought back in the World War saga. So I won't say too much about that because that does give some things away.
I remember kind of reading the War. It's been a while.
It has been, yeah.
It's not like this just came out.
I should have read that before this.
Sure. Well, we have a big. I mean, it's pretty thick. There was a lot going on there, so it's not exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think it's still in print, so we should have it. Yeah. So
I might have to get that picked up myself. But no, they they're enjoying a nice day at the Kent farm, and suddenly these portals in the sky start to open up, and a whole bunch of ships come through that are carrying like this, like the most like vicious tribe, like tribal war, tribe of War World. So like these tribes that were in the War World saga,
Right.
they are coming to
Earth.
Earth.
Okay.
And they're led by a character that we met in the World War saga. That was essentially kind of like a good guy, but seems to be in this issue or in this series kind of be more corrupted.
Okay.
So I won't get too much into that. But we also see, I think it's pronounced Renan Kent, who is a Superman in the far, far future. So that was interesting in itself.
So past future state Superman?
Yeah.
So that would be
far,
more
future.
future. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So that was really cool to see.
Okay.
But I think so. All the stuff with Philip, because Philip Kennedy Johnson's the ones that's writing this series. Everything that he's been working on, not just with Superman, but the entire I guess the House of L and the genealogy of the L's kind of ties all into this. So it definitely is something that you kind of want to do your research on.
Okay.
So, but I mean, it was super cool. The last page, there's kind of like a diary, like a picture of a diary kept by Supergirl, and there was like 2 entries. Don't skip over that. That's definitely something that's definitely worth the read. So yeah,
it's there for a reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, no, yeah. Like I said, it was just super cool, especially seeing the Superman from the far, far future, from the one that we met in that.
Does he actually have a Superman costume?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
But I mean, is the symbol different, or is it? Still...
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if I remember. Yeah, correctly. Yeah. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed. Yeah, like I said, it's just a 12-issue maxi series. So yeah, really enjoyed it.
All right, cool. All right, so my next one is Legacy of Vader number 8. So this is the ongoing Kylo Ren books, kind of his backstory before we meet him in episode 7. Right?
Yeah.
So, and this is an important one because we get now into the Knights of Ren stuff, which is something that they teased us with in the movies, and I feel like they just totally didn't do anything with. It's one of these areas where I think this can be fleshed out, and I would expect maybe down the road Disney Plus cartoon or something that would delve more into this. And we meet our first new Knight of the Ren. Her name is Tava Ren, and so how Star Wars lore deep are you?
Not super deep.
Okay.
I am.
I don't know. Star Wars fans, Knights of Ren to me is. It's hard to say that it was a concept, like I said, that they teased out during the movie series. You're like, oh, this sounds cool. That the name is kind of cool. Kylo Ren. I don't know. Maybe in some of those like illustrated books that like they put out where they have a lot more information. That's what in the movie series. Maybe there's stuff in there that they've already done. And if there is, let me know in the comments. But if you're just watching the movies, the Knights of Ren were kind of lame. Like they basically are kind of mentioned, but then in episode 9, they show up. Ben Solo like beats them all, and the only real difference from them is one guy's got a big club and another one's got this. They're not very distinct. They have a distinct weaponry, and they seem like pretty lame. And weirdly enough, this comic, I guess maybe they're supposed to, because they are kind of lame. Like, you don't know. I don't know. And again, this is just from watching the movies, but what is the Knights of Ren? Like, that was a big question. What is it? A cult? Is it, are they Force users? What is it? And it just seems like they're kind of a gang of thieves, I guess. They haven't gone real deep into it, but they're kind of lame. But this new character, Tava Ren, who is the current leader of the Knights. So I guess in the backstory, whoever leads the Knights of Ren takes on a name. So Kylo Ren was the name Ben Solo took on when he became the leader of the Knights of Ren. And he killed the previous leader. So that's how leadership. So it's very Mandalorian, I guess, in that sense. And so this Tava Ren took on that name. when she became the leader. But she didn't kill anyone to take the leadership because Kylo Ren basically left them, right?
Okay.
Left them. So yeah, this was an interesting book. If you're a Star Wars fan, you probably want to start reading this if you haven't read this stuff. It seems like it's going deeper into it. We also get, as far as I know, the first appearance of Snoke in anything outside of the movies. So we may get Snoke backstory as well. I don't know.
Yeah,
so
they didn't do anything with him in the movie.
Right, exactly. So this is very interesting. Yeah, very, very interesting. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what more they have. But yeah, it's I think it's something that is definitely an area of the canon that can be fleshed out.
Okay.
And so it looks like they're doing it in comics first, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll follow it up at some point in more other stuff. But yeah, it was good. It was good.
Now, if I recall correctly, I think we covered the first couple. I think, right, on one.
So Kylo has been on this journey. Like, again, this is prequel to Force Awakens.
Yeah,
Kylo's been on this journey to take on this Darth Vader mantle, because that's who he wants to be, his grandfather. And so he's been to Tatooine, he's been to Naboo now, and now we're at this point in his journey. So this is like the third stage of his journey. Okay, so he, at this point, he is now with the First Order. So he's joined the First Order. So the first two, he was just kind of on his own little mission, and now he is definitely in the First Order. But now the Knights of Ren have come back into his worldview. So,
gotcha.
So yeah, there you go.
Sweet. I'm gonna have to catch up because I'm still getting this series, but I think I'm 3 issues behind. So
okay, so you're probably in the Naboo arc. Is what you're in. Yeah. So all right.
Awesome. Sweet.
Good.
All right. So last up for me is the Absolute Green Lantern #6. I don't think I've covered this since the second one, I think, if I remember correctly. But this one basically rounds off the first story arc, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
So basically, this issue does give us a lot of answers, but with giving us a lot of answers to the questions that we had, what does it present? More questions, right? So, classic comic books, right? So, but at the end of the last issue, we saw that Joe and Hal confronted Jon Stewart, who now has this like white gold like lantern costume on. So that's been kind of interesting. There's not, we don't get like, I don't think we fully know like what that is in this issue. Okay. But I think that carries on to issue #7.
Okay.
But so essentially, like, during these last few issues, we see where like we feel like Abin Sur is basically disintegrating all these people from this town. But the theory is, and I think if I remember correctly, the theory is true, where he's not disintegrating people, but it's basically just moving them somewhere else. And where that somewhere else is, you'll kind of have to read this issue to find out. But but let's see. So this version of Green Lantern, meaning the Absolute Green Lantern, is we learned that uses a lot of like familiar names. So it uses a lot of like familiar names, familiar characters, stuff like that. But definitely like all the Absolute books are doing right now, where they're like putting a spin on it.
Sure.
So let's see. So let's see, what else do we got? We do learn that what the emotional spectrum of what all the colors of the characters mean within this Absolute universe.
Okay, I was wondering about that, whether they were going to get into the other colors. So there is yellow and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's not like what you would think as far as like yellow, what that means in the normal Green Lantern universe. Okay. So which has been really cool. But no, you're good.
I'm gonna go off camera.
But so like, Joe as Green Lantern, we got Jon Stewart in the yellow gold costume, and then we obviously have Hal, which is like has like the black hand. Right. So but they were talking about how like we learned that the black hand relation into like the lanterns is like bottom of the barrel type of thing. Okay. So like there's different levels in this that you go to, like, okay, well, if you're at this color, then you're top dog, essentially. So that was pretty cool to see.
So is it kind of like martial arts where you like level up
I,
in belt
I
color
guess
or
so,
something?
yeah. Essentially, I think
Okay.
so, yeah.
Okay.
So that's been kind of cool.
Interesting. All right. It's a different take.
Right, yeah, I know.
Okay.
And there's towards the end of this issue, there's something else that relates to another absolute book. I'm not going to say what it is. Comment, if you find out, what that is in particular. And then
So wait, I gotta ask. So then, do you think? So are they implying that maybe that all lanterns start out as like a black lantern and then they graduate?
That's what I'm wondering.
Does that open up? Does that open up like new power sets then? Like when they?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so like the one at the top, they can use all the ones below it, maybe, or something like that.
It seems to be like that, but I'm thinking, I'm like, well, this the black hand, that Hal Jordan has. It's like it doesn't seem great. Like it's not
right.
good things
Well,
going
that
on with
may
that.
be the first level then, right?
Yeah.
So okay. So then is green considered the top or not?
I don't recall.
Okay,
I don't think it's. I don't think it's green. I think
that
it's
intrigues
something
me
else.
because that's an interesting idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
If that's the case. Okay.
So it'll be really interesting to see, going forward and issues in the next story arc to see
Okay.
like what else there is, to do with the different color, that
Right.
color spectrum.
Okay.
But in this issue, it's more like it's an info dump. There's like a lot of talking heads, but the visuals with that are super interesting, like
Okay.
really, really neat. But yeah, this definitely opens up the door to, really show like what the Green Lantern is within the absolute universe in a whole.
Okay.
So now we're starting to see these absolute books, like we'll have Batman, Wonder Woman.
Are they going to be
think
crossing over
so.
soon?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think pretty soon. I can't remember exactly when, but so yeah, now now the Absolute Justice League, that's far. But so we're slowly
Okay.
getting these characters
All right.
intertwined.
Okay.
So.
Cool. All right. Well, there you go. There's our books for this week. Anything else do we want to talk about? Or?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Well, again, love it if in the comments you can either say what you're reading, maybe that we should check out, or comment on any of the books that if you agree with us, or if you don't agree, that's fine as long as you keep it civil. Put in the comments. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And I think that's it for this week.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to go 3 in a row?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
so
wow.
far, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's cross our fingers. All right. Well, thanks, James.
Yeah, thanks,
Appreciate
Mike.
it.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.